What's up, man? How's it going, first off?
Good. I'm happy to be in Detroit.
Do we have the same hat with different colors? Because that's a little creepy.
Well, that's just basically what we're doing is I can commit a crime and blame it on you now.
Nice, love it. Welcome to the Downtown Hoedown. This is what, second time or third time you've done?
Second time. Very, very glad I was asked back.
Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, we had a great time last year. Already having a good time this year. But
it's a gigantic party, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there's one thing. If you can make any party anything, it should be gigantic. So I will say you have accomplished that here for sure.
Completely agree. Speaking of partying, let's talk about your favorite adult beverage. Now, but not just your favorite one, you know, maybe beer, whatever it is. The one that gets you in trouble. For me, it's tequila.
Well, you know what? Believe it or not, I investigated so many drinks for so long that I created a drink. And it was so delicious that I actually put it in a song, and it's our next single. I took a margarita, a daiquiri, a screwdriver, a pina colada, and a sex on the beach, and combined them and came up with a marga daiquiri screw a lot on the beach. And so that's my favorite drink, and I think it would be yours too.
What happens when you have one of those?
I'll tell you once we get into the interview.
I love it. Great. Fantastic. Tell me about the first time you got a phone call from Garth Brooks. Now, here he invited you over to the house, and this is how things kind of started for you, correct?
It was weird. I just had a friend that kind of dropped some songs off that him and I had written to Garth Brooks, and we just were satisfied with the thought of thinking it was cool that Garth Brooks was kind enough to listen to some songs. Sure. But then he, you know, you always hear these crazy stories because he's just such a generous person, you know, that he called us both, and I was taking my mom to the airport, and it said caller ID blocked, and I thought it was an ex-girlfriend. To be honest, I was being honest. And
so
I was like,
did you pick up?
I did. And I was like, hello, and then it was a guy, and I was more confused at that moment. So then, and it was Garth, and then I was really confused. So he was nice enough to invite us over, and first song we ever wrote was "That Girl's a Cowboy," but the first one that ever came out years later was "Good Ride Cowboy," which was man, still to even say that is amazing to be a part of just Garth and a song about Chris Ledoux.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about this for a second. Garth calls, you pick up the phone. Now, did you believe it was Garth? Because I think, you know, I would be like, screw you, dude. You know?
Normally I wouldn't have never believed it was Garth, but since I knew my friend just had dropped it off and we hadn't told anybody because we didn't think we were crazy, so no one knew about it. So I knew my friend definitely couldn't imitate Garth Brooks'
calls,
voice.
He invites you over to the house. At that point, do you wet yourself? What happens?
From every orifice.
I mean, you're going to Garth's house, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I remember pulling up to these gates and I was just like, God. So I was very starstruck. Just because I'm in his living, you know, his kitchen actually. And but in 15 minutes, it was all good because he's asking questions and just making you feel comfortable. But man, he gives credit to everybody. But when you sit in a writer's room with Garth Brooks, you realize why he's such an icon, because he truly is just an amazing individual from every aspect.
So let's talk about Judge Jerrod and the Hung Jury. Bought this CD when it first came out. Love it, by the way. The one question I had after listening to the CD and looking at the album art and all that, why in the world did he name his album Judge Jerrod and the Hung Jury? There has to be a reason behind that. It's not like, you know, you just name it something random. What's the story behind that?
Well, for years, literally 5 or 6 years, our band drove around in this 12-passenger creepy van that we could, you know, we could pull off, like you said, with our hats today. And we were driving down the road, and after some advice from Jamie Johnson, kind of getting on me about kind of just letting my life go to crap, he's like, man, get in the studio and go record an album. And so I thought about it, told the guys in the band, and we all started kind of just brainstorming, and we had conflicting ideas. And finally, our guitar player said, man, we can't decide anything. We're like a hung jury. And everybody started laughing, and he was like, what? So we kind of told him the double entendre. So fast forward a year later, once we got the album done, since it was so unconventional with the you know, 12 songs and 8 interstitials or skits or nonsense, I said, man, if anybody actually ever hears this, because they didn't have a record deal, I said, they're going to judge me and all of you for making it. And so then we thought about it. It was Judge Jerrod and the Hung Jury. So it's not that I have a gavel and a wig or something. It's just saying I'm sure we'll be judged for a bunch of goofy stuff on our album.
If you haven't bought the album, you really need to go get it, because it's not just like your regular album that you go buy and there's 12 tracks on it and, you know, it's just music. There are skits and bits and commentary and things like that in between each track, and it's actually a lot of fun to listen to all the way through. Kind of has like a story, almost like a movie.
Well, you know, it's sort of a concept record, but there's no really, the only concept is organized chaos, because it's the most fun we had. You know, we recorded the album from probably midnight to 4 in the morning throughout a year's period, so, and you can definitely tell.
So if you could have any one thing right now, this is a random question. If you could have any one thing in the world right now at this moment, what would it be and why? Anything.
Well, unfortunately, the first 40 things that come to mind, I would end my career. So I'll just say what I would like right now is for me and you to have a couple beers.
We can make that
and then
happen,
and then what I really want to happen is when we get on stage, I want all these people to have a great time.
I think that will happen. I don't even know if that's a wish.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even you have to pay attention to have a good time here, but I'm just hoping that we make them have a good time too.
Let's talk about crazy fans, because you know it happens with everybody, right? Everybody has a crazy fan, I guess. What is the craziest fan story for Jerrod Niemann?
You know, it's weird. It's like I diffuse that stuff pretty quickly because I feel like that. I mean, I try to seem accessible. So you would like, for instance, like a girl jumped on stage in Kansas City, and usually, you know, like security guards would grab somebody and throw them off. She just came up, and I just put my arm around her, and I was like, "So what now? Now that you're that you're standing here, and I mean, what you know." So then she didn't know what to do. So usually it's like, I mean, I'm probably been a crazy fan to, you know, people. I remember I met Charlie Daniels and Willie Nelson. I'm sure they probably were looking for security.
But you didn't jump up on the stage and hug them, did you? I mean, that's...
No, I tackled them.
Oh my God.
No, but that's what, you know, the thing is, all these people are country, you know, they're music fans. I'm a huge music fan, so I know that there are also people that are a little off the rocker at times, but most of the people that come out to our shows seem to be, you know, fun and sane.
Let's talk about your iPod. I mean, everybody has an iPod now. What's the craziest thing? The most embarrassing song on your iPod? Don't say NSYNC.
I know I don't.
I'm just giving you a heads up right now. Don't say it.
You know, I really don't have any embarrassing because my iPod is pretty dear to me. So I'm just saying I'm not embarrassed by saying anything that's on my iPod. But I kind of like, my parents owned a roller skating rink.
No.
Growing up, like when I was a kid. So there were songs like some.
I am. There's
there's a little some old school, like there's this Tupac song, Me Against the World, I have on there that I love, and just some like old school stuff like that, like the right, you want to Walk This Way, came out with Run DMC and Aerosmith, just, you know, like old school stuff.
Can we close our eyes for a second and imagine Jerrod Niemann sitting at home? He's got his iPod, ears in, and Tupac comes on, and he's just.
That's what I'm doing.
Head back and
sitting
forth.
there, and I'm just like, it's just me against the world. You know, because sometimes it feels that way.
I love it.
Not really, but I don't know. It's just the great thing about, you know, really our country is that right now everybody with the iPods and technology, everybody is listening to all types of music, and I think it's healthy. I mean, some people, you know, strongly disagree, like, oh, no, it has to be this or that, but that's what's great. It's all our opinion. It's art, and I think that the more music that people turn each other on to and the types of music, it just makes you think openly, and also there's just so many great musicians out there that people are never turned on to, and so
couldn't agree more.
Spread the art.
I love it. Download some Tupac, apparently.
Well, I was trying to think of something random that does come on, but I also it's not embarrassing by any means, but there's a new group called Vampire Weekend that I really dig. You know, people like that. So I don't know, if you send me your music, I might just throw it on my iPod.
There you go. I love it. Jerrod Niemann, thank you so much for being with us, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Rock out the Hoedown.
And I want to thank WYCD for letting me be a part of it.
Of course.